Are you living with purpose? Or are you simply going through the motions? Every day, we wake up to the same routine. The alarm clock rings. We get out of bed, go to work, come home, and repeat. But in all of this, do you ever ask yourself, am I truly living? Or am I just surviving? If this thought has ever crossed your mind, then you're not alone. Many of us are caught in the whirlwind of life, drifting along without really understanding where we're headed. The truth is, we all have the potential to live a life that's rich with meaning and fulfillment, but only if we learn to live intentionally. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the wisdom of Buddhism, one of the oldest and most profound philosophies in human history, to help you reclaim your time and live with purpose. If you've ever felt like time slips away faster than you can catch it, or that you're not quite sure what you're meant to be doing with your life, the teachings we're about to explore could change everything. Buddhist wisdom has been passed down for thousands of years, and in this series, we'll explore how these timeless teachings can bring clarity, peace, and a sense of direction to your life. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning with a sense of purpose, not because you have a long to-do list or because you're chasing after something external, but because you know, deep in your heart, exactly what matters to you. You're fully present in every moment, appreciating the simple things that so often go unnoticed. The fleeting beauty of a sunset, the warm embrace of a loved one, the feeling of your breath as you take in each inhale and exhale. In this kind of life, time becomes your ally, not your enemy. And this is exactly what we'll be diving into today. Many of us are victims of what I call time blindness. We have no clear sense of how much time is slipping away from us. We go through the motions, day in and day out, believing that there's always tomorrow to start living our best life. But the truth is, tomorrow never comes. Only today exists. And if we keep postponing our happiness, our peace, and our purpose, we might wake up one day and realize that our life has passed us by. What would it feel like to stop wasting your precious time and start living with intention, clarity, and fulfillment? Buddhism teaches us that time is one of our most valuable resources. In fact, one of the key teachings of Buddhism is the impermanence of all things, the truth that nothing lasts forever. This includes time itself. Every moment that passes is one that we can never get back. And yet, so many of us live as if we have all the time in the world. We delay our dreams, we put off our happiness, and we postpone the things that truly matter. But when we understand that life is impermanent, we can begin to appreciate time as the precious gift that it is. Instead of living in a state of distraction or anxiety, we can learn to live fully in the present moment. The Buddha said, "The trouble is, you think you have time." This simple yet profound quote encapsulates the essence of our problem. We think we have endless time to chase after happiness, peace, and success. But in reality, we don't. Life is short, and each moment is an opportunity to either make the most of our time or let it slip away. This video is designed to help you stop wasting your life by teaching you how to live in alignment with your true values and how to be present and mindful every single day. Over the next hour, we're going to explore 7 powerful Buddhist principles that can transform the way you view time, your life, and your purpose. These teachings will help you see time not as something to be managed, but as something to be cherished. They will help you let go of procrastination, free yourself from attachment, and find the deep sense of fulfillment that so many of us long for. You'll discover how mindfulness, sati, can be your anchor in the present moment, how gratitude can shift your mindset from lack to abundance, and how compassion, karuna, can open your heart to the world around you. Let's take a moment to reflect on why living intentionally is so crucial. We live in a fast-paced world where we're constantly bombarded by distractions. Social media, the news, the pressures of modern life, they all pull us away from the present moment and create a sense of disconnection from ourselves and others. But the truth is, when we're not living intentionally, we're living by default, and this often leads to feelings of dissatisfaction, anxiety, and regret. We wonder why we're not happy, why we feel unfulfilled, even though we have everything we thought we wanted. This is where Buddhist wisdom can help. Buddhism teaches that our suffering comes from 2 things: our attachment to things that are impermanent, and our ignorance of the true nature of reality. By learning to let go of our attachments and to embrace the present moment, we can free ourselves from suffering and begin to live a life of peace and purpose. Imagine being free from the constant desire for more, free from the fear of missing out, and free from the anxiety of chasing after things that ultimately don't bring lasting happiness. This freedom is within your reach, and it starts with a single step. So, how do we stop wasting our life and start living with intention? The answer lies in learning to be present, really present, in everything we do. Whether we're working, spending time with family, or simply enjoying a meal, we can practice mindfulness and bring our full attention to the task at hand. In Buddhism, this is known as right mindfulness, one of the steps on the Noble Eightfold Path. Right mindfulness means being fully aware of our thoughts, emotions, and actions in the present moment, without judgment or attachment. But mindfulness alone isn't enough. To truly live with purpose, we must also cultivate the right mindset. We need to shift our thinking from scarcity to abundance, from fear to love, from grasping to letting go. The practice of gratitude can help with this. When we focus on what we have, rather than what we lack, we begin to see how rich our lives already are. Gratitude shifts our perspective and helps us see time, not as a limited resource that we're constantly running out of, but as an abundant gift that we can use wisely. In the coming sections, we'll explore these teachings in greater detail. But before we dive deeper, take a moment to consider, how are you using your time? Are you waiting for the right moment to start living intentionally? Or are you ready to begin right now? The choice is yours. Every moment is an opportunity to make a change, to live with more mindfulness, to act with more purpose, and to open your heart to more love and compassion. So, let's start today. Together, we'll learn how to stop wasting our life and start living with intention and fulfillment. Part 2. The fleeting nature of time and why every moment matters. As we continue our journey, let's take a moment to reflect on the one resource we can never get back: time. Time is the most precious thing we have, and yet it often feels like there's never enough of it. We're constantly rushing from one task to the next, thinking that we'll have more time tomorrow, or next week, or next year. But what happens when we begin to see time for what it truly is, limited and fleeting? In Buddhism, we are reminded again and again of the impermanence of all things. The Buddha taught that everything, from the flowers in a field to the thoughts in our mind, is in a constant state of flux. Nothing remains the same, and this includes time itself. Every moment that passes is one we can never reclaim. Every tick of the clock is an irreversible change. When we live in a state of ignorance about time's fleeting nature, we tend to waste it, assuming it will always be there. Have you ever been so caught up in the future, worrying about what's to come, that you missed the beauty of the present? Or perhaps you've spent hours scrolling through your phone, not realizing how much time has passed, only to find that your day has slipped away with little to show for it. These small moments of distraction can add up over time and leave us feeling disconnected from the present moment, as if our lives are simply passing us by. The Buddha taught us to be mindful of the impermanence of life, to be aware of the preciousness of each moment. When we truly understand that time is limited, we begin to appreciate it differently. We start to recognize that every moment is an opportunity to live fully, to connect with others, and to do something meaningful. Imagine living each day with a sense of urgency, not in a panicked or anxious way, but with the understanding that time is a gift, and we have the power to choose how we spend it. In today's world, it's easy to get caught in the trap of future thinking. We constantly chase after the next thing, the next promotion, the next vacation, the next achievement. But the truth is, the future is never guaranteed. As the Buddha said, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. It's easy to forget that the present is the only time we can truly live. We can plan for the future, but we must live in the present. And the only way to make the most of time is to be fully present in each moment. So, how do we begin to appreciate time for what it is? The answer is simple, though not always easy: mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying full attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about becoming aware of your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings, and truly experiencing life as it unfolds, rather than living in a state of distraction. When you practice mindfulness, you start to notice the little things you might have missed before: the sound of birds chirping, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the way your body feels when you take a deep breath. You begin to see time as something to be cherished, not something to be filled with tasks or distractions. But mindfulness isn't just about slowing down and taking notice of the world around us. It's also about being fully present in our interactions with others. How many times have we been in a conversation with someone, only to realize afterward that we weren't really listening? Our minds were elsewhere, thinking about what we were going to say next, or worrying about something that happened earlier in the day. This is a common experience. But when we practice mindfulness, we begin to connect with people on a deeper level. We start to listen with intention, to be present in our relationships, and to appreciate the time we spend with those we love. Now, I understand that mindfulness can sometimes feel like a challenge, especially when we're used to living on autopilot, rushing through life from one thing to the next. But the beauty of mindfulness is that it's a skill we can cultivate. With practice, we can learn to bring our attention back to the present moment, no matter what's going on around us. It's about being gentle with ourselves and recognizing that it's okay to slip out of the present. The important thing is to return to it with awareness. Think about the last time you truly felt present. Maybe it was during a peaceful walk in nature, or when you were enjoying a meal with a loved one. Those moments, no matter how small, are what make life rich and meaningful. And when we start to live more mindfully, we begin to see how fleeting time really is. We realize that we don't need to wait for some grand moment in the future to feel alive. The present moment is all we need. But mindfulness is not just about being aware of time. It's also about how we use that time. In the next section, we'll explore how we can live intentionally and let go of the distractions and attachments that keep us from living fully. By learning to let go of what no longer serves us, we free ourselves to use our time in ways that truly matter. And by doing so, we can create a life that's rich with meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Let's dive into that now and begin to discover the power of living intentionally, free from the weight of distractions and attachments. Part 3. Embrace mindfulness, cultivating presence in the now. In the previous section, we explored the nature of time, how it slips away unnoticed, and how we often let it pass without truly engaging with it. Now, let's dive into one of the most powerful tools the Buddha offered to help us make the most of each precious moment: mindfulness. Mindfulness, or sati, is the art of being fully present, of observing and experiencing each moment as it is, without distraction or judgment. In our modern world, filled with constant noise and never-ending demands, mindfulness is often the antidote we need to regain our focus and peace. But what does it mean to practice mindfulness? How can we integrate it into our lives in a way that feels both natural and transformative? The power of the present moment. Mindfulness is not just about paying attention. It's about being in the moment, allowing each breath, thought, feeling, and sensation to unfold as it happens. The Buddha taught that the present moment is the only time we truly have. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. But the present is where our life is unfolding right now. Imagine if you could live every moment with the full awareness of its impermanence, of its fleeting nature. Every conversation, every task, every breath would feel like a gift. Instead of worrying about the past or future, you'd find yourself deeply immersed in the richness of the present. Mindfulness and its impact on your life. When we practice mindfulness, we begin to see things as they truly are, without the veil of judgment or distraction. This means noticing the small details in life, the way sunlight filters through the trees, the sound of birds singing, the feeling of your feet on the ground. These small moments of awareness are what add depth and richness to our lives. The practice of mindfulness helps us to slow down, to pause, and to simply be. In doing so, it allows us to detach from the incessant need to rush, to be busy, to constantly plan for the future. We learn to appreciate the present as it is, free from attachment to outcomes. But mindfulness isn't just about enjoying the moment. It's also about creating a profound connection with your own inner state, with your thoughts and feelings. By observing our thoughts without judgment, we develop a sense of clarity and insight into our own patterns of thinking. We begin to notice when we're acting out of habit or unconscious bias, and we can choose more consciously how to respond. How to cultivate mindfulness in everyday life. So, how can you start integrating mindfulness into your daily routine? It may seem simple, but it's actually a practice that takes time and patience. Start by bringing your awareness to your breath. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, pause and take a few deep breaths. Notice how your body feels, what your thoughts are, and how the world around you is shifting in that moment. You can also practice mindfulness during everyday activities. When you're eating, try to focus on the taste, texture, and aroma of your food. When you're walking, pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the earth. When you're talking to someone, really listen to them without thinking about what you're going to say next. Remember that mindfulness isn't about achieving perfection. It's about gently returning to the present moment each time your mind wanders, with patience and compassion for yourself. As you continue to practice, you'll find that your mind becomes clearer, your sense of peace deepens, and your ability to truly enjoy life expands. Practical exercise, mindful breathing. To deepen your practice, try this simple exercise. Take a moment each day to focus on your breath. Sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and inhale deeply through your nose. Hold for a moment, then exhale slowly through your mouth. As you breathe, focus all of your attention on the sensation of the breath moving in and out of your body. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring your focus back to your breath. Part 4. The art of letting go, non-attachment, and the freedom it brings. In the previous section, we discussed mindfulness and how it can help us anchor ourselves in the present moment, experiencing life with greater depth and awareness. But there's another vital aspect of Buddhist practice that takes this further: non-attachment. It's a concept that is deeply woven into the fabric of the Buddhist teachings, yet one that many people find difficult to grasp in our attachment-driven world. At its core, non-attachment is the practice of releasing our clinging to things, people, ideas, and outcomes. It's about learning to live freely, without being bound by desires or fears. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root cause of suffering, whether it's attachment to material possessions, to the approval of others, or to our own self-identity. All forms of attachment create a sense of dependence and limitation. But what does it really mean to let go? And how can this practice of non-attachment lead to greater freedom and peace? Understanding attachment and its impact. Think about the things that you hold on to in life. Perhaps it's a particular outcome you desire, a relationship you cling to, or an identity you've built around your work or achievements. While these attachments might bring temporary satisfaction or comfort, they are ultimately impermanent. The Buddha taught that all things are in a constant state of change, and nothing in this world can give us lasting fulfillment if we are attached to it. Attachment keeps us trapped in a cycle of craving and disappointment. We constantly desire things to stay the same or to get better. But as we know, life is ever-changing. When things don't go as we expect, we experience frustration, sadness, or even anger. This emotional turbulence stems directly from our attachment to the way we want things to be. Non-attachment as true freedom. Now, consider the possibility of releasing this attachment. Imagine living a life where you are no longer weighed down by your desires or fears, where you can face each moment with an open heart, free from expectations. This is the freedom that comes with non-attachment. Non-attachment is not the same as indifference or detachment. It doesn't mean that you don't care about people or things. It means that you no longer depend on them for your happiness, your sense of self-worth, or your peace of mind. You can love, enjoy, and engage with life fully, but without clinging to it. The Buddhist teachings on non-attachment help us break free from the cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. When we stop clinging to the outcome of every situation, we find that our peace becomes more stable. We are no longer swayed by the ups and downs of life, but instead, we can remain grounded and centered. The role of acceptance in non-attachment. A key part of non-attachment is learning the art of acceptance. Accepting that life will never unfold exactly as we want it to, that people will disappoint us, and that things will come and go, rather than fighting against the inevitable. Non-attachment teaches us to embrace life's fluidity with grace and mindfulness. It's about accepting what is, rather than trying to force things to be different. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or passivity. It's an active, conscious decision to let go of resistance and to flow with life as it is. This creates space for us to experience life as it unfolds, without trying to control every outcome. How to cultivate non-attachment. So, how do we begin to cultivate non-attachment in our daily lives? The first step is to become aware of where you're holding on. Are you clinging to past hurts or disappointments? Are you attached to a particular goal, person, or possession? The Buddha taught us that awareness is the first step to transformation. Once you've identified your attachments, the next step is to gently let go. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to give up everything at once, but rather allowing yourself to release the tight grip you have on the things that no longer serve you. A useful practice is to remind yourself regularly of the impermanence of all things. Every time you feel an attachment arise, whether it's to a person, a possession, or an expectation, pause and acknowledge its impermanent nature. Everything in this world, including your thoughts and emotions, is constantly changing. By remembering this, you can more easily loosen your grip and release the need for control. Practical exercise, letting go through reflection. To deepen your practice of non-attachment, take a few minutes each day to reflect on the things you're attached to. Sit in a quiet space and close your eyes. Think of one thing, be it an object, a relationship, or an expectation that you feel strongly attached to. Reflect on why it's important to you, and then gently remind yourself that it is temporary, just like everything else in life. Ask yourself, what would happen if I let go of this attachment? How would I feel if I no longer depended on this for my happiness? Then, breathe deeply and let the attachment dissolve, just like a wave retreating from the shore. Each time you practice this, you're releasing a little bit more of your attachment and moving closer to true freedom. Part 5. Embracing gratitude, shifting from lack to abundance. In the previous section, we explored the profound teachings of non-attachment and how releasing our clinging can lead to a sense of freedom and peace. But there's another powerful practice that complements non-attachment and helps us shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. This is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most transformative practices in Buddhism, and it's more than just a fleeting emotion. It's a way of living, a mindset that can radically change how we experience the world. In Buddhism, gratitude is deeply connected to the understanding of impermanence, interdependence, and mindfulness. It's not just about saying thank you. It's about living with an awareness of the preciousness of every moment and every experience. When we embrace gratitude, we shift from a mindset of scarcity, always wanting more, never feeling satisfied, to a mindset of abundance, where we can appreciate what we already have. We stop focusing on what we don't have, and we start to see the richness that exists in every corner of our lives. The Buddhist view on gratitude. The Buddha often spoke about the interconnectedness of all beings, and how our actions, thoughts, and words affect not just ourselves but others as well. Gratitude, in this context, is an acknowledgement of this interdependence. It is recognizing that everything we have and experience is the result of countless causes and conditions, many of which we often take for granted. When we practice gratitude, we're acknowledging that nothing in life is truly separate from us. We are all connected, and every moment, every interaction, every breath is a gift that has come to us through the generosity of others, whether it's the efforts of those who came before us, the kindness of friends and family, or the abundance of nature. The power of gratitude in daily life. Imagine starting each day by simply taking a moment to express gratitude for the things you have. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the shelter that protects you, the people who care about you. These are all gifts. Yet, so often, we overlook them in the rush of daily life. We take them for granted and focus instead on what we wish we had or what we think is missing. Gratitude has the power to shift our focus entirely. When we take time to appreciate the things we already have, it opens our hearts and minds to the beauty of the present moment. It helps us see that we already live in abundance, even if we don't have everything we think we want. Gratitude and the cultivation of contentment. One of the most powerful aspects of gratitude is its ability to cultivate contentment. Contentment is often misunderstood as complacency or settling for less. But in Buddhist teachings, contentment is the ability to be at peace with what is, to feel satisfaction with the present moment. Gratitude is the practice that nourishes contentment. When we are grateful for what we have, we no longer feel the need to chase after more or look for fulfillment in external sources. In contrast, the habit of constantly striving for more success, more possessions, more recognition, leaves us feeling empty and discontent. No matter how much we acquire, we are left wanting more. Gratitude, however, teaches us to look inward and recognize that true happiness does not come from external circumstances, but from within. It is in accepting and appreciating the present moment, exactly as it is. A practical exercise, gratitude journaling. One of the most effective ways to cultivate gratitude is through a simple practice of gratitude journaling. This is a powerful exercise that can help rewire your brain to focus on the positive aspects of life. And it takes very little time. Each day, spend a few minutes writing down 3 things you're grateful for. These can be big things, like your health, your family, or your job, or they can be small, everyday moments, like the sound of birds singing in the morning or a smile from a stranger. The key is to make this practice a regular part of your life, and to look for the beauty in even the smallest moments. At first, this may seem difficult, but over time, you'll find that gratitude begins to flow more easily. You'll start noticing the countless blessings that are present in your life, and your mindset will begin to shift from one of lack to one of abundance. Gratitude in challenging times. What about when life gets tough? What about when things don't go as planned, or we face difficulties and challenges? Is it still possible to practice gratitude in those moments? The answer is yes. In fact, it's in challenging times that gratitude can be the most transformative. It's in those moments of hardship that we can learn to find appreciation for the lessons we're learning, for the strength we're developing, and for the support of those around us. The Buddha taught that suffering is an inevitable part of life, but it is through our response to suffering that we can grow and transform. Gratitude is one of the tools we can use to shift our perspective during difficult times. Instead of focusing solely on the pain or the loss, we can find moments of gratitude for the strength and resilience we've gained. We can appreciate the people who are there for us, or the lessons that come from our struggles. How gratitude transforms our relationships. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is its ability to transform our relationships with others. When we practice gratitude, we naturally become more appreciative of the people in our lives. We begin to see them for the gifts they are, whether it's a partner who supports us, a friend who listens, or a colleague who helps us succeed. This sense of appreciation fosters deeper connections and strengthens our bonds with others. It leads us to express our gratitude more often, not just through words, but through actions. Small acts of kindness, like saying thank you, offering a helping hand, or simply sharing a moment of joy, become expressions of our gratitude. By cultivating a heart full of gratitude, we not only transform ourselves, but we also create a ripple effect in the world around us. Our gratitude can inspire others to practice the same, creating a cycle of appreciation, kindness, and connection. Part 6. Finding your purpose aligning with your core values. Having explored the transformative practice of gratitude and how it shifts our focus to abundance, let's now turn to one of the most profound questions of all. What is your purpose? In Buddhism, understanding our purpose in life is deeply intertwined with the teachings of impermanence, mindfulness, and compassion. Finding our purpose is not about seeking external validation or chasing after fleeting desires. It's about discovering what truly aligns with our inner being, what brings peace, fulfillment, and a deep sense of connection to the world around us. The Buddhist perspective on purpose. In Buddhist philosophy, Life is a journey towards self-realization and enlightenment. The path to finding purpose is not about ambition or worldly success. It's about aligning with our core values, the things that are most important to us at the deepest level. The Buddha teaches that we are all capable of cultivating wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness. These qualities are the foundation of a life filled with purpose and meaning. When we live in alignment with these virtues, our actions flow naturally, and we begin to experience a sense of fulfillment that comes from within, not from external achievements. In this section, we will explore the Buddhist approach to finding purpose and how it can help you navigate life with clarity and intention. Living with intention, the first step to finding purpose. One of the most important principles in Buddhism is living with intention. The Buddhist teachings encourage us to act consciously, to be aware of the motivations behind our actions, and to ensure that our choices are aligned with our values. Living with intention means being clear about what matters most to you. It's about waking up every day with a sense of purpose, knowing that your actions are in harmony with your deepest beliefs. It's about taking responsibility for how you show up in the world and ensuring that your life reflects the kind of person you aspire to be. When we live with intention, we are less likely to be swayed by distractions or external pressures. We make decisions that are in alignment with our values, and we move through the world with a sense of inner peace. Purpose is not something we have to search for externally. It arises naturally when we live in accordance with our highest intentions. Core values, the compass for your purpose. Finding your purpose requires a deep understanding of your core values, the principles and beliefs that guide your life. These values are the foundation of your actions, and they shape the way you experience the world. They are the compass that helps you navigate the complexities of life with clarity and direction. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of living in alignment with values such as compassion, kindness, mindfulness, and wisdom. These are not just abstract ideals. They are practical qualities that guide our interactions with others and the way we approach every aspect of life. Take a moment to reflect on your own values. What qualities do you admire in others? What do you want to contribute to the world? What do you want your legacy to be? These are the questions that can help you uncover your core values and begin the process of living with purpose. Purpose beyond the self, serving the greater good. In Buddhism, purpose is never just about the individual. It's about how we contribute to the greater good, how our actions can alleviate suffering and bring about peace for others. This is where the practice of compassion becomes an essential part of our purpose. The Buddha teaches that true happiness is not found in the pursuit of personal gain, but in the alleviation of suffering, both our own and the suffering of others. When we live with compassion, we begin to see our purpose as part of a larger web of interconnected beings. We are no longer just seeking fulfillment for ourselves, but we are striving to make the world a better place for all sentient beings. This shift in perspective can be deeply transformative. It encourages us to look beyond our own desires and ambitions, and to focus on how we can contribute to the welfare of others, whether through acts of kindness, volunteering, or simply being present with others. Compassion allows us to experience a profound sense of purpose that transcends the self. Finding purpose through mindful actions. The path to discovering your purpose is not a one-time event or an abstract concept. It is something that unfolds through mindful actions in your daily life. Each moment offers an opportunity to align with your purpose, and each action, no matter how small, contributes to the larger picture. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment, helps us connect with our purpose by allowing us to engage with life in a more conscious way. When we are mindful, we can recognize the deeper meaning in our actions, no matter how mundane they may seem. Whether we are helping a friend, working on a project, or simply enjoying a cup of tea, mindfulness allows us to approach each activity with intention and purpose. When we live mindfully, we become more attuned to the needs of others and the world around us. We begin to see the interconnectedness of all beings and how our actions can create ripples of kindness and compassion. This is where purpose and mindfulness meet. In the everyday moments that we often overlook, practical steps to align with your purpose. To help you align with your purpose, here are some practical steps that you can take. Reflect on your core values. Take time to journal or meditate on the values that matter most to you. These might include love, wisdom, integrity, or compassion. When you identify your core values, you can use them as a guide to make decisions that align with your purpose. Set intentions every day. Set a clear intention for how you want to show up in the world. This could be as simple as being present with the people around you, practicing patience, or offering kindness to someone in need. Intentions keep you focused and mindful throughout the day. Practice compassion. Seek opportunities to serve others and contribute to the well-being of those around you. Acts of compassion can be as simple as a smile, a kind word, or a helping hand. By making compassion a part of your daily life, you begin to live with purpose and meaning. Be present. Practice mindfulness in everything you do. Whether you're eating, walking, or interacting with others, be fully present in the moment. This helps you connect more deeply with yourself and others, and it allows you to experience life with greater clarity and purpose. Evaluate your actions. At the end of each day, reflect on your actions. Were they aligned with your values and intentions? If not, what can you do differently tomorrow? This process of reflection helps you stay on track with your purpose and ensures that you're living with intention. Part 7. Overcoming procrastination and embracing action. We've discussed the importance of living with intention, aligning with your core values, and finding a purpose that resonates deeply within. Now, let's turn our attention to something that often stands in the way of pursuing our true potential: procrastination. Procrastination is a universal challenge. Whether we're putting off tasks that seem overwhelming, avoiding difficult conversations, or simply getting distracted by the demands of modern life, we all find ourselves procrastinating at times. But in Buddhism, procrastination is more than just a habit. It's a form of attachment to comfort, fear, and the unknown. In this section, we'll explore how to overcome procrastination using Buddhist principles, particularly mindfulness, clarity, and detachment from outcomes. We'll also look at how cultivating small, consistent actions can lead to big changes over time. The Buddhist understanding of procrastination. Procrastination often arises from a sense of fear or resistance to what we have to do. We might be afraid of failure, or perhaps we feel overwhelmed by the task at hand. In Buddhist teachings, fear is a form of ignorance, the misunderstanding that we are separate from the world around us and that our actions have no impact. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from our attachment to desires, expectations, and aversions. Procrastination is often linked to our attachment to comfort, our desire to avoid discomfort, and our tendency to resist the present moment. We may think, "I'll do it later," because we want to avoid the difficulty or discomfort associated with taking action. However, the Buddha also taught that by embracing the present moment and acting without attachment to the results, we can overcome procrastination. Mindfulness and detachment help us break free from the cycle of avoidance and inaction. Mindfulness as the key to overcoming procrastination. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment or distraction. When we apply mindfulness to procrastination, we begin to observe the thoughts and emotions that arise when we avoid tasks. Are we avoiding them because we're afraid of failure? Are we putting them off because we're overwhelmed? Or is it simply because we don't feel like doing them? By observing these thoughts and emotions without attaching to them, we create space to choose a different response. Rather than being swept away by the tide of procrastination, we can respond with clarity and intention. Buddhist meditation practices, such as vipassana or mindful breathing, are excellent tools for overcoming procrastination. These practices help us cultivate a calm, clear mind that is not easily swayed by distractions or discomfort. By regularly practicing mindfulness, we train ourselves to take action, even in the face of resistance. Clarity and the power of small steps. One of the most effective ways to overcome procrastination is to break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. In Buddhism, this aligns with the concept of right effort, the practice of applying consistent, mindful energy towards our goals. When we look at a large task, it can seem overwhelming. However, by focusing on one small step at a time, we can make progress without feeling burdened. This is how mindfulness helps us overcome procrastination. Instead of focusing on the enormity of the task or the fear of failure, we focus on the present moment and the small action we can take right now. For example, if you're putting off a project, the first step might be to simply write down your thoughts or set a timer for 10 minutes to begin. Over time, these small actions build momentum, and the fear or resistance that once held us back begins to fade away. Detachment from outcomes, letting go of the pressure. Procrastination is often linked to a fear of failure or a desire for perfection. We might procrastinate because we're afraid that our work won't be good enough, or we might feel overwhelmed by the pressure to achieve a certain outcome. Buddhism teaches the importance of detachment from outcomes. When we are too attached to the results of our actions, we become paralyzed by the fear of failure or disappointment. Instead of focusing on whether we succeed or fail, we can focus on the process, on taking action, learning, and growing along the way. The Buddha often emphasized the importance of acting with right intention and without attachment to the fruits of our labor. When we let go of the pressure to achieve a particular outcome, we free ourselves from the chains of procrastination. We can act freely, without fear, knowing that the results are not in our control. Practical strategies to overcome procrastination. Here are some practical strategies, grounded in Buddhist principles, to help you overcome procrastination and take inspired action. Start small, break tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. Focus on just one step at a time, and trust that momentum will build as you make progress. Use mindfulness to overcome resistance. When you feel resistance or fear, pause and take a few deep breaths. Observe your thoughts without judgment. Are they based on fear? Is there something you're avoiding? Acknowledge these thoughts and then gently bring your focus back to the task at hand. Practice right effort. Commit to putting in the right amount of effort each day, without overexerting yourself or expecting perfection. Small, consistent actions lead to significant progress over time. Let go of perfectionism. Recognize that perfectionism is often a form of attachment that holds you back. Focus on progress, not perfection. Each step forward, no matter how small, is an accomplishment. Embrace the process, not just the outcome. Shift your focus from the final result to the process of working. Each moment of action, no matter how small, is an opportunity to grow, learn, and become more mindful. Set a timer. If you're struggling to start, use a timer to commit to working for just 10 to 15 minutes. Often, once you start, you'll find it easier to continue. This is a simple but effective technique to overcome procrastination and build momentum. The power of action in creating change. In Buddhism, right action is a core principle of the Eightfold Path. Right action doesn't just mean doing the right things. It means acting with clarity, mindfulness, and intention. When we take action, we create the conditions for change, both within ourselves and in the world around us. By embracing action, no matter how small, we begin to overcome procrastination. Action leads to clarity, progress, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world. As we move forward with mindfulness and right intention, we align ourselves with the flow of life and create positive change. Embracing impermanence in the process of action. Finally, remember that nothing is permanent, not the discomfort of procrastination, not the fear of failure, and certainly not the resistance to taking action. In Buddhism, we are reminded that all things are transient, and this includes our habits, thoughts, and feelings. This awareness of impermanence helps us act with a sense of urgency, knowing that every moment is an opportunity to make a difference. By embracing the present moment and taking action now, we align with the natural flow of life. Part 8. Cultivating compassion, the heart of purpose and fulfillment. As we continue our journey toward a life of purpose, fulfillment, and mindfulness, we come to one of the most profound teachings in Buddhism, compassion. Compassion is the heart of the Buddha's path. It is the force that connects us to others, to the world around us, and to our own deeper humanity. Without compassion, our mindfulness and wisdom would be incomplete. For compassion is the bridge that turns our understanding into meaningful action. In this section, we'll dive deep into the Buddhist understanding of compassion. how to cultivate it in our everyday lives, and why it is essential to living a life of purpose and true happiness. The Buddhist understanding of compassion. In Buddhism, compassion is known as karuna, a term that describes not just an emotional response, but a profound state of empathy and kindness that arises from wisdom. It is the genuine wish for all beings to be free from suffering and to experience happiness. But karuna is not just an abstract ideal. It is a call to action, a practice we must integrate into our daily lives. The Buddha taught that all beings, regardless of who they are or where they come from, share in the experience of suffering. When we understand this commonality, we begin to feel a deep sense of connection to all beings, which naturally gives rise to compassion. In fact, the path of mindfulness itself is inseparable from compassion. Each mindful action, each moment of presence, is an opportunity to cultivate more compassion for ourselves and others. When we practice mindfulness and develop awareness of the present moment, we are more likely to notice the pain and suffering of those around us. This heightened awareness is the foundation for the growth of compassion and the interconnectedness of all beings. One of the most important aspects of compassion in Buddhism is the concept of interconnectedness. The Buddha taught that all beings are interconnected, that no one is separate from another. This principle is known as dependent origination, pratityasamutpada, which says that everything arises due to causes and conditions. We are not isolated individuals. We are part of a vast, interconnected web of life. When we recognize our interconnectedness, we begin to understand that the suffering of one being is the suffering of all. This awareness naturally leads to compassion. As the Buddha said, just as a mother would protect her only child with her life, even so, let one cultivate a boundless love for all beings. Compassion in practice, how to cultivate karuna in daily life. Now, let's explore practical ways to cultivate compassion in our lives. Cultivating compassion is not just about feeling empathy. It's about acting on that empathy and making it a part of our everyday behavior. 1. Loving kindness meditation, metta bhavana. One of the most powerful tools for cultivating compassion is loving kindness meditation, or metta bhavana. In this practice, we direct feelings of love and compassion first toward ourselves, and then extend them to others, including those we love, neutral people, and even those with whom we have conflict. To practice metta meditation, sit comfortably in a quiet place, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Begin by offering loving kindness to yourself, saying in your mind, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I live with ease." Next, extend these wishes to others, friends, family, acquaintances, and even people you find difficult. You can repeat the same phrases, "May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you live with ease." Finally, extend these feelings to all beings everywhere. Without exception, may all beings be happy, may all beings be healthy, may all beings be safe, may all beings live with ease. This practice opens your heart to compassion, helping you connect deeply with the suffering of others and motivating you to act with kindness. 2. Acts of kindness. Compassion is not just a mental state. It is also a physical practice. Small, everyday acts of kindness can make a significant difference in the lives of others. Whether it's offering a smile to a stranger, helping someone carry groceries, or simply listening to someone who is in pain, these acts create a ripple effect of compassion. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to practice dana, generosity, which is not limited to material giving. It can also include offering our time, energy, or attention to others. The act of giving, whether it's in the form of physical assistance or emotional support, is a powerful expression of compassion. 3. Empathetic listening. One of the most important ways to show compassion is through empathetic listening. Many times, people simply need to feel heard and understood. Listening attentively, without judgment or interruption, is an act of compassion that allows others to express their suffering and feel supported. When you listen with empathy, you acknowledge the pain or joy of the other person, and you create a safe space for them to share their emotions. This not only helps others, but it also deepens your own sense of interconnectedness and compassion. 4. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is another powerful expression of compassion. Holding on to resentment or anger harms us more than anyone else. Letting go of grudges and practicing forgiveness, both for others and ourselves, allows us to heal and move forward with an open heart. In Buddhism, forgiveness is not about condoning harmful behavior, but rather releasing ourselves from the suffering that comes with holding on to negative emotions. It is a way of freeing ourselves from the past and embracing the present moment with compassion. Compassion as the key to fulfillment. When we cultivate compassion, we move closer to the ultimate goal of Buddhist practice, liberation from suffering. Compassion allows us to break free from the cycle of craving and aversion, and to live in harmony with others and the world. It is not just a feel-good emotion. It is the key to true fulfillment, peace, and joy. Compassion is also deeply connected to purpose. When we act with compassion, we align ourselves with the welfare of others, and in doing so, we find greater meaning in our own lives. Helping others, being present for them, and showing kindness, these are the actions that make our lives truly worthwhile. As the Buddha said, if you want to be happy, practice compassion. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. By practicing compassion, we not only ease the suffering of others, but we also experience the deep joy and fulfillment that comes from living a life aligned with our highest values. The ripple effect of compassion. Finally, remember that compassion has a ripple effect. When you act with compassion, you inspire others to do the same. Your kindness can change someone's day, and their kindness can change the world. This interconnectedness of compassion helps create a more peaceful, loving world, one small act at a time. Part 9. Living with purpose, aligning actions with values. As we move into the final part of our journey, we arrive at the core of living a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling, the alignment of our actions with our deepest values. This is where mindfulness, compassion, and clarity converge to guide us toward a purposeful life. The Buddha taught that living with intention and integrity is essential for freedom from suffering and true happiness. In this section, we'll explore how aligning our daily actions with our values not only leads to fulfillment, but also brings us closer to our highest potential. When our actions reflect our inner beliefs, we experience a sense of peace and satisfaction that transcends external circumstances. The Buddhist concept of right action and right intention. In Buddhism, the Eightfold Path provides a roadmap for living a purposeful life. Among its principles, right action and right intention are key components that teach us to align our behavior with our values. Right action is about making choices that are morally and ethically sound, while right intention focuses on our motivations behind those actions. When we act in harmony with our values, we create a life that feels authentic and true, whether we're making big life decisions or simply responding to everyday situations. Aligning our actions with our values provides clarity and purpose. The Buddhist teachings emphasize that when our intentions are pure and our actions are rooted in kindness, compassion, and wisdom, we cultivate inner peace and contribute to the well-being of the world around us. Living with integrity. Living with integrity means being true to ourselves and our beliefs, even in the face of challenges or temptations. It involves making decisions that reflect who we truly are, not who others want us to be or what society expects. In the Buddha's teachings, integrity is a cornerstone of ethical living, as it ensures that our actions are consistent with our values. When we live with integrity, we experience greater self-respect and clarity. Our choices become easier because they are guided by our core values, and we no longer feel torn between external pressures and our inner truth. Integrity also helps us cultivate deeper relationships with others, as they can sense the authenticity and sincerity behind our words and actions. The power of mindful decision-making. Mindful decision-making is the practice of pausing, reflecting, and considering our values before we take action. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to make decisions based on impulsive desires or external pressures. But when we pause and align our choices with our deeper values, we ensure that our actions are intentional and purposeful. Buddhist mindfulness practices, such as observing our thoughts and emotions without attachment, help us become aware of the underlying motivations behind our decisions. When we practice mindfulness, we can discern whether our choices are driven by ego, fear, or genuine desire to live in alignment with our true self. This clarity allows us to make decisions that are consistent with our values and lead us toward a life of purpose. Living with purpose in the everyday. Living with purpose doesn't mean we need to make grand gestures or monumental changes. It's about incorporating our values into every aspect of our lives. No matter how small, every moment offers an opportunity to live with purpose, whether it's through a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, or a decision to act with integrity. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to see the sacredness in the everyday, whether we're washing dishes, driving to work, or spending time with loved ones. By aligning these small actions with our values, we create a life of meaning and fulfillment. For example, if compassion is one of your core values, you can integrate it into your life by practicing acts of kindness, offering a listening ear to someone in need, or volunteering your time to help others. If wisdom is important to you, you can dedicate time to learning, reflecting, and growing intellectually and spiritually. The key is to recognize that every action, no matter how seemingly insignificant, can be a reflection of our highest values. By choosing to live with purpose in each moment, we create a life that is deeply aligned with our inner truth. The role of compassion in living with purpose. Compassion plays a significant role in living a purposeful life. When we align our actions with compassion, we not only contribute to the well-being of others, but also experience a deep sense of fulfillment and connection. Compassion allows us to see beyond our own needs and desires, and to recognize the shared humanity in all beings. The Buddha taught that true fulfillment comes not from self-centered pursuits, but from acting for the benefit of others. When we live with compassion, our lives take on a greater sense of meaning and purpose. We no longer feel isolated or disconnected, but instead, we feel part of the larger web of life, where our actions ripple out and affect the world in positive ways. Practical strategies for living with purpose. Here are some practical ways to align your actions with your values and live with purpose. Reflect on your values. Take time to identify your core values. What do you deeply care about? What kind of person do you want to be? Once you have a clear understanding of your values, use them as a compass for your actions. Make conscious decisions. Practice mindful decision-making by pausing before acting. Ask yourself, does this decision align with my values? If the answer is no, consider how you can adjust your approach to be more in line with your true self. Set meaningful goals. Set goals that reflect your values and contribute to your overall sense of purpose. Rather than focusing solely on external achievements, consider how your goals can help you grow spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually. Embody your values daily. Integrate your values into your daily routine. Whether it's practicing kindness, honesty, or generosity, make sure that your actions reflect the person you strive to be. Find joy in the process. Recognize that living with purpose is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the process of aligning your actions with your values, and trust that every step, no matter how small, is leading you toward a more meaningful life. The fulfillment of living in alignment with your values. When we live with purpose and our actions are aligned with our values, we experience a deep sense of fulfillment. We are no longer living according to the expectations of others or chasing after fleeting desires. Instead, we are living authentically, from a place of inner peace and wisdom. As the Buddha said, just as a flower does not pick and choose the bees that come to it, we must act with integrity and kindness, offering our true self to the world. When we live in alignment with our values, we not only find peace and fulfillment for ourselves, but also contribute to the well-being of others and the world as a whole. Through mindful action, compassion, and alignment with our core values, we can live a life of purpose, peace, and profound fulfillment. Part 10. The Ripple Effect: How Purposeful Living Transforms the World. As we reflect on the power of living with purpose and aligning our actions with our deepest values, we begin to see how this intentional way of living doesn't just benefit ourselves. It creates a ripple effect that touches everyone around us and even extends beyond our immediate environment. The impact of living a life guided by purpose is far-reaching, influencing not only our own well-being, but also the lives of those we interact with. In this section, we will explore the profound concept of the ripple effect and how each action rooted in mindfulness, compassion, and purpose contributes to the greater good. We will also look at how small acts of kindness and purpose-driven actions can help create a more harmonious, loving, and the interconnectedness of all beings. As we continue our exploration of Buddhist teachings, we come to a key understanding. Everything in the universe is interconnected. This principle, known as dependent origination, reveals that no being exists in isolation. We are all part of a vast, intricate web, each action, thought, and emotion reverberating throughout the fabric of existence. When we live with purpose, we are not just impacting our own lives. Our thoughts and actions ripple out, influencing others in ways we may not even be aware of. Just as a pebble thrown into a pond creates ripples that expand outward, every intentional, compassionate act creates a series of effects that ripple across the world. In Buddhism, this interconnectedness is deeply honored. The Buddhist teachings remind us that our actions, whether positive or negative, have consequences that extend far beyond ourselves. This is why living with purpose and compassion is so vital, because our actions can either contribute to suffering or help alleviate it, depending on whether they are motivated by mindfulness and wisdom. The ripple effect of kindness. One of the most powerful ways our purposeful living affects the world is through kindness. Kindness is contagious. A simple smile, a kind word, or an unexpected act of generosity can change the course of someone's day, and sometimes, even their life. The beauty of kindness is that it multiplies. When we show kindness to others, they are more likely to pass it on, creating a ripple effect of goodwill that can spread through entire communities. In Buddhism, the practice of dana, generosity, is central to cultivating compassion and kindness. Dana is not just about material giving. It's about offering our time, attention, energy, and love. By practicing generosity in all aspects of our lives, we contribute to the happiness and well-being of others, which in turn creates a more compassionate world. The Buddha taught that a single act of kindness throws out roots in all directions, and the roots spring up and make new trees. When we act with kindness, we help nurture the seeds of compassion and goodwill, allowing them to take root in others' hearts and continue to grow. How purposeful living inspires others. When we live in alignment with our values and act with purpose, we naturally inspire others to do the same. Our presence, our actions, and our commitment to living a life of integrity serve as a living example of what is possible. People are drawn to authenticity, and when they see someone living a life of purpose, they are often inspired to examine their own lives and make changes that align with their values. The ripple effect of purposeful living can extend to entire communities. When one person lives intentionally and with compassion, others are likely to follow suit, creating a collective shift toward a more mindful and meaningful way of life. This is the power of collective consciousness. When we each live with purpose, the collective consciousness of humanity evolves in a positive direction. As the Buddha said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. When we live with self-compassion and align our actions with our values, we can share that love and affection with others, fostering a world that is both more peaceful and more purposeful. Purposeful living and social change. Purposeful living extends beyond the personal realm. It can also catalyze social and cultural change. When individuals or groups of people choose to live with mindfulness, integrity, and compassion, they can collectively influence societal structures, policies, and institutions. Social change begins with the individual's commitment to living a life of purpose and making choices that benefit not only themselves but also the collective good. In Buddhism, the concept of right livelihood encourages individuals to choose careers or ways of earning a living that are aligned with their values, contribute to the welfare of others, and promote ethical practices. This principle reminds us that every aspect of our lives, from the work we do to the way we interact with others, can be an opportunity to contribute to positive change. When we choose to live a life of purpose, we are also contributing to the creation of a more just, peaceful, and compassionate society. By living mindfully and acting with integrity, we show others the possibility of living in harmony with both ourselves and the world around us. Small acts with big impact. It's important to remember that the ripple effect doesn't require grand gestures. The small, everyday acts of kindness and purposeful living often have the most significant impact. A smile, a moment of patience, a word of encouragement. These simple actions can profoundly affect the lives of others. The Buddha taught that small acts of virtue can lead to great results. In Buddhism, even the smallest acts of kindness or mindfulness are seen as valuable because they contribute to the overall harmony and balance of the universe. Each kind word, each compassionate action, creates a ripple that spreads out, contributing to a greater collective good. As we move through our daily lives, we are constantly creating ripples, whether we are conscious of it or not. Our words, actions, and intentions create waves that affect those around us. By living with mindfulness and purpose, we can ensure that those ripples are positive and contribute to the well-being of others. The power of community. While individual purposeful living is powerful, there is also strength in community. When a group of people comes together with shared values and intentions, the impact of their collective actions is multiplied. Communities rooted in mindfulness, compassion, and purpose can create transformative change that reaches far beyond the individual level. In Buddhism, the Sangha, or spiritual community, plays a crucial role in supporting individuals on their journey. The Sangha provides a space for shared learning, mutual support, and collective mindfulness. When we come together with others who share our commitment to purposeful living, we create a powerful force for positive change. Conclusion: creating a world of purpose. As we conclude this exploration of purposeful living and the ripple effect, we see that each of us has the power to make a difference. By living intentionally and in alignment with our values, we can create ripples of kindness, compassion, and wisdom that extend outwards, influencing not only our own lives but the lives of others and the world we live in. Living with purpose is not just about achieving personal fulfillment. It's about contributing to the well-being of all beings. Each small action, when rooted in mindfulness and compassion, can help create a world of peace, love, and interconnectedness. By living with purpose, we become part of the collective movement toward a more harmonious and compassionate world. Part 11. Embracing the present moment, the art of living fully. As we continue our journey toward purposeful living and compassionate action, we now arrive at one of the most powerful and transformative practices in Buddhist philosophy: embracing the present moment. The present moment is all we truly have. It is the only time that is real, the only time in which we can take action and experience life. Yet, so often, we find ourselves either dwelling on the past or anxiously anticipating the future, missing the precious moments that unfold right in front of us. In this section, we will explore the art of living fully in the present moment, understanding its deep connection to mindfulness, and why this practice is essential to living a life of purpose, fulfillment, and joy. We will also look at how embracing the present moment allows us to release unnecessary stress, cultivate inner peace, and make the most of every moment. The illusion of time. One of the most profound teachings in Buddhism is the understanding that time, as we perceive it, is an illusion. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, and the present moment is all that exists. This teaching is rooted in the concept of impermanence, anicca, which reveals that all things are constantly changing and nothing remains the same for even a single moment. When we grasp the reality of impermanence, we begin to see that the present moment is all we truly have. The past cannot be changed, and the future is beyond our control. Therefore, the only time in which we can truly live, experience, and act is the present. This understanding frees us from the constant worry about what has happened or what might happen. It allows us to fully engage with life as it is, without being clouded by regrets, fears, or distractions. In this way, embracing the present moment becomes a gateway to living with purpose and fulfillment. Mindfulness, the practice of present moment awareness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It is the art of being fully present and aware of our thoughts, feelings, sensations, and surroundings, without being caught up in them or reacting automatically. Through mindfulness, we develop the ability to observe our experience without attachment or aversion, simply allowing each moment to unfold as it is. Mindfulness allows us to see life as it is, unfolding moment by moment, full of beauty, complexity, and impermanence. By practicing mindfulness, we cultivate the ability to be present with whatever is happening, whether it is joy or sorrow, success or failure. We stop chasing after the next moment and instead allow ourselves to fully inhabit the one we are in. In Buddhism, mindfulness is considered one of the most important practices for developing wisdom and compassion. It is through mindfulness that we begin to see the true nature of our thoughts, emotions, and experiences, allowing us to make more conscious choices and act with greater clarity and purpose. Living in the moment, letting go of distractions. In our modern world, distractions are everywhere. We are constantly bombarded by information, technology, and the demands of daily life. These distractions pull us away from the present moment, leaving us feeling scattered, stressed, and disconnected from what really matters. To live fully in the moment, we must learn to let go of these distractions. This doesn't mean rejecting technology or responsibilities, but rather learning to bring our full attention to whatever we are doing at any given time. Whether we are eating, working, or spending time with loved ones, we can cultivate a deep sense of presence by focusing our attention on the task at hand and engaging with it wholeheartedly. In Buddhism, this practice is known as right effort, the effort to focus our minds on what is important and to let go of distractions that pull us away from the present. By practicing right effort, we can train ourselves to be present with our experience, moment by moment, and develop a deeper sense of peace and clarity. The power of now, seizing the opportunity to act. One of the most transformative aspects of living in the present moment is the ability to act with intention. When we are fully present, we are able to see the opportunities and choices before us clearly. We can make decisions that are aligned with our values and purpose, rather than being driven by fear, habit, or unconscious patterns. Living in the present moment allows us to take action in the here and now, rather than postponing or procrastinating. We stop waiting for the perfect moment and instead take advantage of the opportunities that are available to us right now. In Buddhism, the concept of right action emphasizes that our actions should be intentional, ethical, and in alignment with our values. When we act in the present moment, we are creating the conditions for future growth and fulfillment, rather than waiting for an external circumstance to change. Embracing imperfection, letting go of the need for control. Living fully in the present moment also involves embracing imperfection. Often, we hesitate to fully engage with the present because we are waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal conditions. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. Life is messy, unpredictable, and imperfect. Buddhism teaches us to embrace imperfection with compassion and acceptance, rather than trying to control every aspect of our lives or waiting for everything to be just right. We can learn to let go and trust that each moment is exactly as it needs to be. By letting go of our need for control, we free ourselves to live more fully and authentically. We stop waiting for life to unfold according to our expectations and instead embrace it as it is, with all of its flaws, surprises, and beauty. The joy of presence, finding fulfillment in the now. Finally, embracing the present moment allows us to experience true joy and fulfillment. When we stop chasing after the future or dwelling on the past, we are able to experience life as it is, with all of its richness and wonder. The present moment is where life happens, and it is in the present that we can find deep contentment and peace. Buddhism teaches that true happiness does not come from external circumstances or future achievements, but from within. When we are fully present, we are able to access a deeper sense of joy that is not dependent on the fluctuations of life. This joy arises from our connection to the present moment, to ourselves, and to the world around us. As the Buddha said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. When we learn to live fully in the now, we discover the profound peace and joy that can only be found in the present. Conclusion: the present moment as the gateway to purpose. Embracing the present moment is not just a practice. It is the foundation of a life of purpose, fulfillment, and inner peace. By living fully in the here and now, we open ourselves to the richness of each moment and create the conditions for meaningful action, compassionate living, and deep connection with others. The present moment is where our lives unfold. It is where we have the power to make choices, act with intention, and cultivate the qualities that lead to lasting happiness. By embracing the present, we align ourselves with the flow of life and unlock the potential for true purpose and fulfillment. Part 12. The path of self-transformation, becoming who you are meant to be. As we have explored the importance of living with purpose, embracing the present moment, and cultivating compassion, we now turn our attention to the path of self-transformation. In Buddhism, the journey towards enlightenment is not about becoming someone else, but about uncovering and embracing who we truly are, free from the layers of societal conditioning, personal fears, and attachments. Self-transformation is a deeply personal journey that involves understanding our true nature, shedding limiting beliefs, and stepping into our full potential. It is about aligning our actions with our deepest values, cultivating inner peace, and realizing the inherent wisdom and kindness within us all. In this section, we will delve into the Buddhist concept of self-transformation, exploring how mindfulness, meditation, and self-awareness can lead to profound personal growth. We will discuss how to overcome obstacles on this path and how to embrace the process of becoming who we are meant to be. Understanding the nature of the self. Buddhism teaches that the self is not a fixed, permanent entity, but rather a collection of thoughts, emotions, and experiences that constantly change. This is known as the doctrine of Atman, or no self, which asserts that there is no permanent, unchanging I. Instead, we are a fluid and dynamic process, shaped by our experiences, choices, and the conditions around us. When we understand that the self is not something fixed, we begin to realize that we have the ability to transform ourselves. The notion of self is not an unchangeable essence, but a process that is always in flux. This realization opens the door to self-improvement, as we can begin to let go of outdated ideas about who we are and embrace the possibility of change. The Buddhist teachings encourage us to recognize the impermanence of our thoughts and emotions, which allows us to step outside of the cycle of attachment and suffering. By letting go of rigid concepts of self, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of who we truly are and who we are becoming. The role of mindfulness in self-transformation. Mindfulness is a key tool on the path of self-transformation. Through mindfulness, we develop the ability to observe our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. This heightened awareness allows us to see our habitual patterns and reactions, giving us the opportunity to break free from them. Mindfulness helps us cultivate self-awareness, the first step toward transformation. When we are mindful, we are able to observe our internal states and recognize the underlying causes of our suffering. We begin to see the connections between our thoughts, emotions, and actions, allowing us to make more conscious choices. By practicing mindfulness, we can identify and release negative habits or beliefs that no longer serve us. We can let go of self-doubt, fear, and limiting thoughts, replacing them with positive, empowering beliefs. This is how mindfulness becomes a catalyst for profound self-transformation. Meditation, the tool for deepening self-knowledge. Meditation is another powerful tool for self-transformation. Through meditation, we create a space of stillness and inner calm where we can connect with our true nature. Meditation allows us to quiet the mind, observe our thoughts without attachment, and gain insight into the nature of our consciousness. In Buddhism, meditation is used to cultivate wisdom and understanding. By sitting in stillness, we gain clarity about the workings of our mind and can begin to see through the illusion of the ego. We learn to distinguish between the fleeting thoughts and emotions that arise and our deeper, unchanging awareness. Regular meditation practice helps us develop equanimity, the ability to remain balanced and calm in the face of life's challenges. This inner peace becomes the foundation for self-transformation, allowing us to face our fears, doubts, and insecurities with acceptance and compassion. Overcoming the obstacles to self-transformation. The path of self-transformation is not always easy. Along the way, we will encounter obstacles, both external and internal. External obstacles might include difficult circumstances, lack of support, or societal pressures. Internal obstacles often take the form of self-doubt, fear of change, or attachment to old patterns. One of the key teachings in Buddhism is that obstacles are an inevitable part of life, and they should not be feared or avoided. Instead, we are encouraged to face them with mindfulness and compassion. By embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, we can transform obstacles into stepping stones on our path to self-realization. Buddhism teaches that suffering is not something to be avoided, but something to be understood and transcended. When we encounter difficulties, we can use mindfulness and meditation to look deeply into their causes and discover the wisdom hidden within them. By embracing our obstacles with courage and compassion, we can grow stronger and more resilient on our journey of self-transformation. Self-compassion, the key to growth and healing. As we embark on the path of self-transformation, it is essential to practice self-compassion. Often, when we strive to change, we can be our harshest critics. We may become frustrated with ourselves when we fall short of our goals or make mistakes. But self-compassion allows us to approach ourselves with kindness, patience, and understanding. Self-compassion is not about excusing harmful behavior or avoiding responsibility. It is about acknowledging our imperfections and treating ourselves with the same care and respect that we would offer to a loved one. When we practice self-compassion, we create a safe and nurturing space for growth and healing. In Buddhism, the practice of loving kindness, metta, extends not only to others, but also to ourselves. We are encouraged to offer ourselves the same love and care that we offer to others, recognizing that we, too, are deserving of compassion. By cultivating self-compassion, we can overcome self-judgment and embrace our true potential, living with authenticity, aligning actions with values. Self-transformation is ultimately about living authentically. When we align our actions with our deepest values, we step into our true power. We no longer feel compelled to conform to external expectations or live inauthentic lives. Instead, we create a life that reflects who we truly are. Authenticity is about being true to ourselves, our values, and our purpose. It involves making choices that align with our inner truth, even when it feels difficult or uncomfortable. Buddhism teaches that when we live authentically, we experience a deep sense of peace and fulfillment, because we are no longer at war with ourselves. Living authentically requires courage. It means embracing our true nature, letting go of the masks we wear, and showing up in the world as we truly are. This authenticity allows us to connect deeply with others and live a life that is aligned with our highest values. Conclusion: embracing the path of self-transformation. The path of self-transformation is not about becoming someone else, but about uncovering and embracing who we are meant to be. It is a journey of deep self-awareness, inner healing, and personal growth. Through mindfulness, meditation, and self-compassion, we can overcome the obstacles that stand in our way and step into our true potential. As we walk this path, we realize that self-transformation is not a destination but a continuous process, a never-ending unfolding of who we are at our core. It is through this process that we come to live lives of purpose, authenticity, and fulfillment, aligned with our deepest values and true nature. By embracing the path of self-transformation, we unlock the power to create meaningful change in our own lives and in the world around us. Conclusion: life is a gift, live to love. As we reflect on this journey we've taken together, from understanding the preciousness of time to discovering the power of mindfulness, from learning to live with purpose to embracing the transformative power of compassion, we realize that every single moment in life carries incredible potential. Every breath, every decision, every interaction, These are not just passing events but opportunities for growth, connection, and profound change. Living with purpose means being aware of how we use our time, aligning our actions with our deepest values, and constantly striving to be present in each moment. It's easy to get lost in the distractions of daily life, to feel overwhelmed by the demands placed on us. But when we take a step back and truly reflect on what matters most, our relationships, our contributions, and the legacy we wish to create, we begin to see the path ahead more clearly. However, as we walk this path, we must remember that it's not always a straight line. There will be challenges, times when we feel uncertain, when we struggle with procrastination or fear. Yet, it's in these very moments that we have the most to learn. It's in the midst of difficulty that our true character is revealed, and it is through compassion, both for ourselves and others, that we find the strength to persevere. Compassion, as we've explored, is the heart of living a meaningful life. It allows us to connect with others, to feel their pain as our own, and to take action from a place of understanding and love. It is not just about kindness, but about truly seeing and hearing those around us, recognizing their humanity, and choosing to act in ways that support their well-being. But compassion is not something that only benefits others, it enriches our own lives too. When we act with compassion, we free ourselves from the chains of ego, expectation, and self-centeredness. We move from a life of isolation to one of connection. We shift from simply existing to truly living. In the grand scheme of life, we are all interconnected. The choices we make, the actions we take, ripple out into the world, affecting not only our own lives, but the lives of those we encounter. It is through these small, everyday acts, whether it's listening to someone with an open heart, helping a stranger, or simply offering a kind word, that we create a world of love and understanding. So, as you continue on your own journey, remember that life is not about reaching some distant destination. It's about how you show up in each moment, how you align your actions with your values, and how you choose to be present with compassion and love in your heart. This journey may be long, and at times difficult, but it is also beautiful. It is through the struggles, the triumphs, the lessons, and the love that we find our true fulfillment. Each day is a chance to be more fully alive, to live with purpose, and to spread kindness and compassion to the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey. As you walk your own path, may you be guided by the wisdom of mindfulness, the strength of purpose, and the boundless love of compassion. May you live a life filled with meaning, connection, and the deep joy that comes from knowing you are part of something much bigger than yourself. Live to love, and love to live.